Hello my fellow gamers and welcome once again to perafilozof City Skylines videos. I'll be continuing to build up the city in which I plan to reach 1 million population on the hard mode. The city is called Bedrock and I have started using the space from a third tile. The first two tiles are completely filled, so I started building up here. In the previous episode I was having problems with getting enough workers. I'm at the moment missing about 2 to 3,000 workers, and for those workers to be received and for the industry to get its workers, I seem to have reached a good balance here with 3 lines of residential zones. I had built a few of these with just 2 lines of residential zoning, so I believe that was actually not enough, but it's kind of too late to change up this area here. I'll have to do that change down here. I have already started to build up this area here as 3 residential zones, so the next one will have 3 as well. I might not have that residential demand at the moment, but I believe that because of that worker shortage, these buildings will pop up in a little while. Now that I've reached almost the end of these streets, I will need to expand them further down. I'll be using, of course, the 2 lanes with trees on them. I will also need to be expanding the bus lines down here. As we can see, the blue line is not reaching all the way down, but it should, for it seems to have a way to travel, so I will need to pull these bus stops down here. Alright, so now I have pulled the local bus line to cover these areas as well. As for the metros, I believe I have a metro already here, so this line should cover this area. I was wondering, should I maybe connect another part of the metro here? There's already this one here, and I think when I reach this point I could connect here and get another local line to connect with this one. With this red one I could probably connect this blue one as well. That should take care of the public transportation. When it comes to the schools, I have 3 elementaries already, 1 high school up here, and if I want the area down here to get more education, more high school education, that should probably mean another high school. I'll just see where that would go. That would go about here, and I could get another cross street to be a 2-way 2-lane pretty much here where I'm ending the residential zone, like this. And of course the problem with this is that it destroys this zone. Same problem as always. When you have cross streets, they tend to destroy the previous zones, so these squares now give off very much different zones. But I guess these are residential and I do need far more than before. I might as well zone them here as well. I don't think they should cause too much trouble with the traffic. Here I will put the high school, and also I believe I need a new clinic, because these two cover the areas up there and this new one should cover this area. I'll just see, do I have enough room here for it? Well, it will have to go down here. Now I should get another cross street so that the clinic has easier access to the rest of the city. There we go, and that should provide good coverage, as it does. As for death care, I only have this crematorium. I only have this crematorium up here, this one here, and for the new areas I will definitely need to get a new crematorium that can fit right here. As for the police and fire coverage, the fire station and the firehouse seem to have good coverage. As for the police, the police headquarters still covers this area rather well. As for the parks, I think this is the end of the coverage that these can provide, so I will need some new parks here. Let's see where I can place those 4x4 parks, or they are kind of a little bit bigger than just 4x4. Can't fit in here, but this one can fit here. Excellent. And this one on this side, hopefully somewhere about here. Excellent. That should provide good coverage. The next park in the middle can go onto this road, I believe. Let's try and find something that's not this big. Perfect. Now I should speed up the game. As always, I keep forgetting to speed up if I don't want this to take forever. If I've made new zones, then I need new districts. This district for residential needs to be expanded. What do we have here? Recycling, pet ban, and parks and recreation. That's excellent. Those are the policies that I want to use. Down here I will be able to continue with more industry, commercial and offices. Now, how's the number of jobs? 51,500 jobs and 49,500 filled, so exactly 2,000 jobs have yet to be filled. The unemployment is finally down from 3% to 2%. Excellent. In this area I did build the forestry industry because I was kind of getting annoyed by the fact that I was now importing forestry goods while I used to be exporting them. And I do seem to have too much industry at the moment as I'm exporting so many goods while the commercial areas are not buying. Now that is disbalanced because, as you can see here in this area of the city, there isn't as much commercial as there is in this one. So that is why I had added this area over here, this area here, and a lot more commercial in here. But if I continue building up the industry, I will have even more goods to sell and nobody to sell them to, and will have to export them. I'll have to find a way to get rid of some of those goods. Now the question is, where would I put more commercial? I believe I could go here with a line of high density commercial, then a line of offices, then a line of high density residential zones. But like I said in the previous video, I'm trying not to mess too much around with this zone. Trying to figure out where is my next place to expand. As I am filling up this area here, I will probably go into this area. Now let's see what we have here. Still no new residential buildings, but how about the old areas? They seem to be filled, and I did have a few more areas that I could zone if I have decided that I might as well zone on the cross streets. I still want to zone them like this for the 4x4 buildings, but the small ones, I think I can allow them to be zoned onto the cross streets. Now my population does keep growing. It's now almost at 93,000. I have about 400 births per week. So that's a lot of new children being born. As for their education, they should be covered by elementary schools, almost covered, but soon I may need new ones. As for the high schools, never did have enough, and for the universities always had more than enough coverage. Now I mentioned this in a previous video. I would love it if there was a possibility for the developers to add an overview that would show me which areas have need of just what level of educated worker, because then I would know how many new high schools, universities or elementary schools to add, or even if some would need to be turned off. What's going on here? Citizens are sick. That would probably mean there's too much noise pollution, and that is exactly what's going on. Now that's the problem when you zone so close to the highway, and I should probably stop doing that. I mean, some of them do seem to have more problems than others. I think this area up here has the biggest problem because of all the noise pollution that's coming off the incineration plant, the solar power plants and so on. And I don't really have such a thick zone of offices here. This one is just 2x2, this one is 3x4. I guess if I see too much problem from this noise pollution, I can just dezone them, and for now I will leave them if they do not create too much problems. Am I expanding? Still no new high density buildings being built as for residential zones. The zone here where I have the forestry industry is mostly filled by overeducated workers. at least these jobs are filled. They used to be continuously empty without any workers. This one is still empty. It says it's operating normally. Must have had some workers for a second or two. Now it has none. Let's see the number of jobs. Alright, so just 1,500 jobs yet to be filled. I'm not sure where are those new teams coming from. Are they just filling up the old high density zones that were not filled to as many as they would take? And that's where the new teams are coming from and the new workers. So as soon as those buildings are filled, I think these should start popping up. Let's see if we can hurry that process up by adding some more offices. 4x4s, like I said, they need to provide a large area for oops, I should not have zoned here a bit further. They need to provide a dampening zone for all the noise pollution coming off the high density commercial areas and the industrial areas. Alright, that should cover it for the offices. They will probably pop up right away. There we go, 1, 2, just 2 for now, and the next area can be high density commercial. I will need to expand these roads if I plan to continue developing here. I also need to take a look at the imports and exports. I'm importing almost 5,000 goods, mostly ore, then some agriculture, then oil and forestry, while I'm exporting mostly goods. Now I'm wondering whether or not this industry here, what? Huh, interesting. This building is not forestry industry. The district was kind of too small to cover it. Or should I say the zone was too big. As I was trying to say, I was hoping that I could... What's this? This building is importing. It's a forestry building, yet it is importing forestry goods. Now that's really bad. I'm not sure why would my forestry industry be importing, yet it is. Here's another one that's importing. For some reason, I don't seem to be producing enough raw forestry goods in these forestry, I don't know how do you call them, the buildings which produce fresh trees, or these smaller ones, these bushes. In any event, they do not seem to be producing enough to satisfy not only the generic industry, but not even the halfway produced goods from the forestry industrial buildings. Now I'm not sure what exactly could I do about it. Do I just add more forestry? But then again, I was spending so much time tearing down the forestry in these areas and switching them for generic industry. Plus I do not have that many uneducated to fill up those spots. As you can see, pretty much every building that requires uneducated is actually filled with overeducated workers, so that would just not work. Adding more forestry industry, just like adding more agriculture, does not seem to do what it's supposed to be doing, and that is to get the raw resources and have goods, have resources for the generic buildings, generic industry to use those goods from the specialized industry and not import them. The problem with ore and oil is that the ore and oil that is on the map simply gets used up incredibly fast, and that's something the developers need to work on. I mean, they don't have to be reusable, but they really need to last far longer than they last at the moment, so that I wouldn't have to import continuously those types of raw materials. Still nothing new on the residential buildings, yet my population has increased by 2,000. So I'm guessing the high density buildings are just something that takes a long time to be filled with the maximum number of households, well, not the actual maximum number, the maximum number that they want to move in. But it's good as long as I'm increasing the amount of population. How's the jobs 50,300 filled out of 51,700, so 1,400 jobs yet to be filled. That's excellent. I do have 20% seniors. I would like that number to go down below below 18%, because if I have way too many seniors, I don't think I have enough workers then, and I will have a big number of dead people in a wave if they're all the same age. Now, how's the level of these buildings? The industry, some of them are at level 2, some at level 3, none I can see are at level 1. I was expecting more of them to be at level 3, but I don't seem to have covered them with enough services for that. What's going on here? Citizens are sick once again. Yeah, that noise pollution is starting to be problematic. But they seem to get well. Okay, I won't touch that area for now. As I was saying, how to get the rest of the industry to level up. Now, there is that useful mod that shows you what exactly is needed, but the font size is so small I just cannot use it on my PC setup. I was thinking that perhaps I should take a look at what kind of services I'm giving them. I mean, I'm using the clinics instead of the hospital, like I'm using here, but I didn't notice the hospital had big effect, so what I'm going to do is turn it off here and go back to the clinics. I just need to actually find the rest of them. There's one here and one here, and shouldn't there be more? Could have swore I had at least 3 clinics in this area. Let's see, good coverage from this one here, and there should have been, must have bulldozed it. There should have been one more here, because this area definitely has 3, so this one should have 3 as well. Okay, so yeah, like I said, no hospitals. As for the fire station and firehouses, the coverage seems to be okay, and the police station, police headquarters seems to have a good coverage as well. So I'm not sure what exactly would be necessary of the services to get these buildings to level up. They don't seem to need a lot more, just a little bit more, at least some of them. Some require a little bit more than others. The needs of the industry are usually for them to level up, to have good access to public transportation, which I think I have definitely given them. There are metro stops every few blocks, there are bus stops every few blocks, then there are multiple bus lines, multiple metro lines. This one just comes up to here. There are good coverage from the, this is a fire station that's a block away from this industry, so that should definitely be enough coverage. The interesting thing is that these ones that are here on the right are level 3, while here the ones in the middle. The other strong influence is from the cargo train terminal, but the question is just how far does that influence go? It's one of the things that I never really could see or find out. So as always, there is that issue of trying to level up the industry. You probably remember my attempt to level up the rest of the industry here to level 3, as these industry buildings are at level 3, but the parks did not do the trick. I did add a park here to try and get even better coverage, but same coverage, not the same level. I guess when that mod gets updated with a little bit higher font size, I will probably be able to use it and see just what do these buildings require in order to level up to level 3. For now, I will leave them alone. The number of jobs not filled, about 1,300, excellent. Population 95,800. My budget, I am currently in the green for about 20,000, which is excellent. My tickets from the public transportation are almost paying off for the entire public transportation. I have increased some of these services up to 105%. in order to try and get a little bit a better coverage and a little bit a better response time from multiple vehicles from the services that provide vehicles for the teams for their needs. Here we have filled everything up, so this could be more industry. Just what type? Well, as you saw, it's really no use building up more forestry as the imports seem to stay the same. The forestry industry seem to have stopped importing, or have they? No, this one is still importing, but these over here at least aren't importing anymore. But like I said, I do not have the uneducated workers, so I will end up just increasing the total amount of goods as I will be building more generic industry here. I was thinking of not adding too much generic industry, for example, just one thin line of generic industry here. But before that, this needs to be big business benefactor on a district that's offices and commercial buildings. So here would be more industry, and that would be the generic industry. Now I am well aware that this will just keep increasing the amount of goods that I'm exporting, but for now I do not seem to have that much of a problem with the traffic, and it's not creating any problems while they are exporting. All the streets have good flow. They may be red, but there aren't any stoppages where traffic gets stopped and then they start despawning. So far I think that's good, and it's like I told you in the previous episodes, you just need a lot of surface area for the roads so that the teams can find different paths. For example, here is a problem where they're all trying to get in through this on-ramp here, and I should probably find then another way for them to do this. The question is, where are they going? Let's ask them. Importing ore to this building. Oh, I see. So they may be slowing down because these buildings are there on that road. Alright, let's dezone this and bulldoze. They can be moved to these streets where there's no traffic coming in from the highway. This should help with clearing this up, but there is still a big line of them importing. This one is coming back from the export. This one is returning to the facility. So a lot of them are coming in here, and then they're just trying to go into these areas. Piece here, I will say no heavy traffic. No, I will ban the heavy trucks. Then I will add a ramp here, and what this should do is divide the trucks that are coming in from the that run as export or civil service vehicles or just the people moving in. They will keep using this one, but the trucks that are full, that are the heavy traffic trucks, they will have to go either down here into this ramp, or they will use this ramp here. Now the ones that are coming in off of here, they can use this ramp, while the ones that come off this highway, they will continue going down here and then use this ramp. And let's see, actually I can see that right now in action, because the ones that have spawned before I made this district will ignore it, but the ones that spawn after I have built this will start using it properly. Let's see here, the generic industry has gone up, and so this can be remade into a district for generic industry. Policy for smoke detector distribution. The buildings should level up. Some did already to level 2, some are still at level 1. They do have access to public transportation, but that's just the metro. The bus stops are not down here yet. I need to move these down here. Alright, so now they have 3 bus stops, and that should help them level up. These services, they seem to have low coverage by the fire department, so probably a new fire station needs to be built down here. That should provide better coverage, and so it does. Excellent. As for the police headquarters is all the way up here. There is a police station here that I've turned off. I think police headquarters has pretty much the best coverage. As for the power, I still am good for another 100 megawatts. As for the water, I think I'm running low on sewage capacity and water capacity, so soon I will have to increase both. I'm now up to almost 67,000 population. I think just 5,000 population in this video, but I was running at a higher speed than usual, so that's very good. So how's the traffic once more in this area? Okay, good. No trucks with heavy loads are coming through here. Is this one going to have a heavy load? Yes, it is. Then still some trucks that do, but how about down here? Yep, heavy load, import, heavy load, import. That's good, they're using that one. So hopefully they will start ignoring this ramp here and start using that one down there. That should keep some of the traffic balanced, and I won't have a traffic jam here. I could probably take a quick glance at the other areas. Lots of traffic here, but flows pretty well. And up here, pretty good. Nothing to be worried about. So I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. Alright, and still no demand for residential, but the number of sims is going up. So I guess those are just the old buildings that have yet to be filled up to their maximum number of sims per building. Well, I believe this was pretty much enough for this video. I know I might have not expanded a lot, just a few blocks, but I have done a lot of other good things around the city, and it looks even better than before. Thank you all for watching, and please stay tuned for more.